Great, Jenny, thanks for being here. It's been a pleasure to work with you on this important search for EBI. Really excited to have a conversation here to talk about your background and the school and what you're looking for. So first, just tell us a little bit about who you are, your role at EBI, and how you came to the school.
Okay, well, hi, Gabe. Nice to see you again, first of all. And my name is Jenny Kells, and I am the academic director here at EBI, and I work with the curriculum and the IB program from all the grades across the school. And I'd actually been living abroad for a very long time in Barcelona, Spain. And last year was my first year back. And the reason why I moved back to the United States was in part, a big part was because of the project that is EBI's project. I really liked about the school when I was researching other possibilities that diversity is at the center and the core of the mission and vision of the school, and is in complete alignment with the IB program. And for me, coming from a place where, of course, there was diversity, but perhaps a different type of diversity, I feel like I really wanted to work in a place that not only saw diversity as being there, but actually celebrated it as the magic, right? The magic that makes the school run. For me, it's really interesting to see, having been a teacher for part of the time last year here at EBI, that in my classroom, I had students from all walks of life, of all colors and shapes, and all types of genders. And the most beautiful piece of that was actually seeing how in that context, we all strove very much in order to try to create this beautiful safe space where everybody could share ideas. And we're talking about something like art in and how it shapes the world and how it shapes us, and just seeing that sort of big topic be talked about from such different angles. And I'm talking about a fourth grade class, not a university level class, to come and really see such different perspectives that are possible because of where everybody comes from. So for me, coming to EBI and really seeing the joy that is working here, is the goal and the continuous focus on the fact that this diversity isn't something that is just tolerated or that is necessary, but it's something that it's really celebrated, and it really helps us build a good community for the future. So in a nutshell, that's really what EBI means to me personally, and I feel like it's right there in the mission and the vision of the school, and I feel like that is really something that needs to be aligned with anyone that is wanting to come to this particular school.
And I had a chance to come to it last week. It's a beautiful school. It's a 2-campus school, and this person will be working on the campus that serves grades 2 through 8.
Yes.
And this the lower school division head oversees grades 2, 3, 4, 5. I think it's important to let folks know that at the moment the school is in search of a head of school to serve as an interim for the 23-24 year. So that person will hopefully be installed later this fall. Can you talk about what's happening right now with some of your colleagues? Because you will be a peer to this role, and you have other peer administrators who are very dedicated, who are passionate about the school. Talk about who's going to be playing some key roles to help open the school up in the fall, and how you and your peers and this role, how you imagine all the collaboration will be happening.
I like that you brought this up, because I feel like it's also sort of indicative of the moment where the school is right now. We're looking for an interim head of school and also a future permanent head of school. But also the fact that it's quite an exciting time because we're going to try to consolidate or focus really hard on consolidating this new admin team. So as you were saying, some of us are continuing, some of us have decided to move on to other opportunities, and we have to, send people off with also the best joy. But the people that are returning are, for example, myself, and I would work really closely with the lower school division head in order to consolidate that PYP program in this part of the campus that works with the 6 transdisciplinary themes. We're very fortunate to have very dedicated teachers who know the IB really well in this particular lower school campus and also on the other one, but I'm talking specifically about the ones here. And not only would the team, the teacher team, be excited to meet the new lower school division head, but myself, I would work closely with them in order to understand a little bit more how the IB magic happens. And also we have our director of well-being and DEIB, who would also help bring in the piece of the SEL and the social emotional part of the school for the students. In addition, Talia Romero, she is the principal who used to always also be on my academic team, but she has moved into the principal role for the lower school, for the younger campus in Alcatraz. And she would also, of course, be there to help consolidate this new admin team to really take this school to the place where we feel it needs to be and stay and move forward. But yes, right now what we're looking for is this piece of somebody coming in and being able and open to learning and also being open to receive not feedback and help, because it's a challenge coming into a new school. I did this last year, but I feel like when you have the right pieces there to support you, then you're more likely to be successful. And we, of course, want to be a school that sets people up for success, not only the students, but also the faculty and also ourselves. And I feel like this new year, bringing in all of these pieces is going to be a really nice opportunity to get this Rubik's Cube in place for the following school year.
That's excellent. And just to clarify, as I understand it, Talia is, you mentioned lower school, but what you meant there was the pre-K through
Yes.
grade 1 campus. So that is a different campus, and she's the principal of that
For the
area.
early years program.
Yeah, early years.
We call that the early years program. This
yeah.
is the lower school and the middle school. And as you saw, we call this the lower school because it's actually on the lower floor, and the middle school is on the floor.
And you used the Rubik's Cube analogy, and I mean, having come there, it's so fascinating. I mean, you have a school that is Spanish immersion, you have the IB program, you also are teaching Mandarin. I mean, just talk about the Rubik's Cube, or sort of the just the different dimensionalities of the school and what makes it so unique. I mean, I can't imagine there are many schools like EBI out there.
I don't think there are many schools like UBI out there. In fact, it's a funny thing to think about. But when I was growing up, learning Spanish it was something that people did, and you had to have that requirement, to get into college perhaps, but it wasn't as celebrated as it is here. And one of the most wonderful things to come to, besides all of the diversity that I was speaking about before, is that even the Spanish language is also diverse, because we've got teachers from all over teaching Spanish and English, in fact. But what's interesting is that this program, where the students are actually coming out and learning Spanish in the middle school, for example, as if it were their first language, for a language and literature class, it's quite challenging. Our Spanish teacher always loves to brag about how all of our kids get into all of those AP classes way sooner than they should, and that they always come back and they tell her, look, I passed my exam, I got to study this, and I'm gonna get university credit for studying because my Spanish is so good. And not only the language, but the literature component is also very strong. So I feel like this is a magical place of bilingualism and future plurilingualism, which is what I always tell the kids. We're going to have to change the name of the school because you guys are learning Mandarin. And it's just really nice to see kids who love reading, who love learning, and, who really see the language as part of culture. And I think that that's much more beautiful than just, taking a language class and on an app and learning Spanish that way. Like, the cultural component is very big here.
That's awesome. And just talk about, in terms of the type of partnership that you hope this lower school division head brings and what you'd be looking for. What are some important just, mindsets or approaches that will make a senior administrator successful at EBI? You've been there, and you've sort of been through a cycle of the school year, so you have a good sense of what you know what it how the school ticks and how the faculty tick and what the students need and the parents. So just, at a high level, any sort of important things that would be, you'd hope for in this role, or just what's going to make someone successful in the position like this.
Well, as an IB school, specifically, I think being like looking at the IB learner profile traits that we talk about so much with our student body and in ourselves, right? We want teachers and faculty members and senior admin, and our job is to create people who are risk takers, who are, respectful of each other, who really care about learning. And I feel like all of those different attributes, being a good communicator, being a good critical thinker, all of these things are things that it's not just because they're on a chart, it's because we will teach what we are. So it's very important for us that those values, those core values of the learner profile, are there in our teachers and in our faculty and in our staff, in everyone, right? But more specifically about the lower school division head, I feel like it should be a person, or it would be great if it was a person who likes working in teams. And for me, working in a team means listening. I feel like we have a lot of experienced people here who are really great and have a lot to contribute. And sometimes, just like being a good teacher, it's sort of a way of learning how to coach, right? And learning how to listen and learning how to advise, and also obviously contributing in the best and most respectful way possible, but also just knowing that you're not going to know all the answers from the very beginning, and allowing room for other people's ideas so that we can build the school together, right? It's a vision that I feel like is really key for a classroom and for a school to construct meaning together. And that means being open and being able to collaborate with others.
Outstanding. Well, final question, and just, I didn't have a chance to see any, well, I saw some students when I was there in the summer program, but, I'd love to get a sense of like, just, in the fall, when the students come back and, like just maybe a story from you of like, what the kids are like, or just a moment that, you remember made EBI so special last year that, this person could be looking forward to. Just anything about the students and the learning that takes place and the culture in the classroom or out in the field that just, to you really symbolizes, why this school is so great.
Well, I guess what I would say is, looking back at my first few days in the classroom, especially thinking on the mindset of a teacher and just being in that close contact with kids, was the moment where we're all together. We all come together in our morning circle and we do a check-in. How are we all? How are we feeling? Are we excited about the new year? We learn about who each person is, because if you're going to build anything, you need to know who you're building it with, and people is a big factor there. And then I feel like you begin by allowing room for those conversations about, what are our agreements? How are we going to live in because we live here at the end of the day. We spend a lot of time here. How are we going to live in our classroom? What are the rules? What are our agreements? What matters to us? What role does respect play? How do we listen to each other? How do we, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So I feel like I remember that first class with my EBI students at the beginning of last year. And that sort of symbolizes not only what you see in a classroom, but hopefully what we can build together as a school. And to add another thing to finalize your video, is the idea of the diversity reception. I feel like, I think they do it 3 times a year here, where we have families, students, staff, and, admin come together in order to really share stories and listen to the stories from the different families and former students who come back and tell us about, how they didn't really realize that this diversity world that we're creating here was not normal. Like they actually took this for granted growing up here, and that when they left, they realized, oh, that's just what happens at EBI, unfortunately, and that we're creating kids who will then take all of this and really try to make the world a little bit better out there for everyone. So it isn't just the stories about, being recipients of knowledge. It's the stories about people who go out there and then have those higher expectations of everyone. And I think that that's a very good thing for the world to have higher expectations with regard to diversity and everything that it can bring us. So I remember that reception quite well from last year, and I really hope that those are done again, because I think it really showed what the school's about.
Outstanding. Well, you've shown us what the school is about, and it's just a wonderful community, and I can just tell there's a great a passion behind the school and the mission, and we're looking forward to helping you make a hire here and help start the school out on a great foot this coming school year. So thanks so much, Jenny, for spending some time with us, and we look forward to working with you on the rest of the search.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Okay. Okay.
Bye.